There is a Portland guitarist who travels the nation and much of Europe playing and teaching. Sometimes he'll be away from home for months at a time. His name is John Stowell. Of course, when he is home, he plays as much as is humanly possible.
You never know where you're going to find John Stowell. He might be sitting in on a Monday night jam. He might be with a big experimental ensemble. He could be playing with other guitarists at the annual Guitar Summit. Or he could be playing solo. We might as well start with the same question you probably had. Why does he hold his guitar that way?
Every musician will tell you it's a happy accident in terms of how your technique evolves. It's nothing that you plan. I mean, a teacher will tell you, try to cultivate good habits, but then after that, especially in the jazz world, you're on your own. So I got interested in playing this way because I have relatively small hands, and I got interested in these piano voicings that involve close intervals. And it's much easier with the reach with the neck up more vertically. That's all it is.
Did you start doing that one day, or was it gradual?
That's a good question because it happened so long ago now. It's been 25 years of playing this way. So I would be hard-pressed to tell you that on September 4th, 1972 it happened. I don't think it happened overnight. I think I'm really more influenced by the sound of piano chords than guitar chords, quite honestly. I love those close voicings. And I think you don't choose your musical preferences. They develop organically as you play and listen and talk to people and study a bit.
John first made his mark on a number of recordings with bass player David Friesen. David is responsible for John's coming to Oregon a long, long time ago.
I used to frequent a little place in Greenwich Village. I was born in the city and raised in Connecticut. And at age about 24 or 5, when I felt I was really serious about this music and knew I had a long way to go, but knew it wasn't going to happen for me in Connecticut. So I was starting to very slowly work my way around New York a little, and no real paying jobs at that point, but just trying to make some friends and sit in some sessions and so forth. And one night in January of '76, David Friesen walked in. And he had driven across the country just to try to kind of feel out the New York scene. And we played a song together and enjoyed each other. And he said, I'm in town for a while, and I suggested that we play again. And then the third time he came back, and we played a little more, and he was rolling back out here in July of '76. And I'd never seen the Northwest. I'd been to California once 5 years earlier to drive a car out for a friend of my father and flew right back. I had no knowledge of Oregon. So I was going to stay 3 weeks.
And he never left.
What was this guy like then?
He wasn't so different from the way he is now. I mean, I have the same feeling about the music. I think I'm probably, hopefully, a little smarter now, and I think I play a little better 25 years later. But my feeling about the music is unchanged, really. I've pretty much kept my life focused on this, and my lifestyle is really no different from what it is then. I still rent little rooms in houses and apartments, and still pretty much focused on the music. Hasn't changed much. So I have not acquired the trappings of adulthood. He would be a major scale. All I'm doing with the melodic minor is flatting the third. So now I have... We can do the same thing with an arpeggio.
John is also a clinician. No, he doesn't draw blood. He travels the country teaching guitar clinics.
Different people have a different approach to teaching the music. That just means we do workshops and clinics, sometimes at music stores, occasionally high schools or elementary, usually college level. Over the years, that's been, in some cases, a good chunk of my income for the year. My first approach is just, if I'm sitting in a room, the first thing I do is just try to get people interested, to get them engaged. So I play a little for them. And I just talk to you about some of the things we've talked about, how to stay motivated, how to learn this information, the fact that it is all a learnable skill. We can create good ears through repetition, teaching them about how to listen, breaking down information in terms of chords and scales and just how to improvise, and then hopefully give them enough of the creative sensibility to try to pull them in. Because initially it's intimidating. It looks mysterious when you watch someone do this. Even if you're a jazz student and you really want to play this music, it looks kind of opaque, kind of difficult to penetrate. But if I say, all right, this scale works over this chord, here's how it sounds, here's how you can do it. Let's put two things together. Now let's play a little progression, now you try. And you pull them in. And once they're hooked, then they want to learn it too.
How much of it then for you is an intellectual process and how much is from the heart?
Interesting, because sometimes I feel I'm skewed more toward the intellectual, and my playing does sound intellectual to most people. It's abstract sounding. It's not really, I mean, it's in the jazz tradition, but I don't really sound like anybody else. And I favor a certain amount of dissonance sometimes. So it sounds intellectual. But to me, I do try to make it come from my heart, and I think what you do try to do is take the theory and make it sound emotive. If you're not touching people, then the theory doesn't mean anything. So I hope people will like it.
People like you who are on an international level,
right.
You find people like you in little bars in your hometown just playing.
Sure.
Why is that?
It's a paid rehearsal for us, and we're grateful for those opportunities. As long as I can play what I like, I'll play anywhere. I play art galleries, I'll play restaurants, I'll play private parties. But you want to find a balance and do enough playing for a serious listening audience that you feel you're getting that input too. So I always learn something every time the instrument's out of the case. I take it out to play. I'm going there with a good attitude to try to make the best music I can and hope someone will enjoy it, or at least create a nice environment or a nice atmosphere for them. And I'm always glad I'm there generally. It's not always perfect. You know, sometimes it's a little noisy or a little crowded, or it's not perfect. But I never wish I was anyplace else. If I have the instrument, and if it's in my lap and I'm playing something, I'm generally happy that I'm there.
And so are we. Not long after we finished shooting, John was packing up. Solitary weeks on the road ahead of him, full of music.